Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Happiness Handmade. My name is Lisa and I am a lover of all things crochet. If you are new to my channel, hello and welcome. If you are already a subscriber, welcome back. Today's video is going to be all about my experience at the painted tree. So if you had a chance to see my part one or my first painted tree video about getting the space and getting set up, definitely check that video out. I will link it in my description. This is part two of my painted tree experience. I have a painted tree playlist as well, so you can check that out and make sure that you're not missing any painted tree updates and videos. But this is part two, and it's going to be my 1 month video. So I have been in the painted tree for 1 month now. So I want to bring you along on how things are going for this first month. There was a vendor showcase day that took place a couple days ago. So I filmed some things there. Want to show you how that went. Want to show you the space again, what I'm doing to update for the changing of the seasons. Right now it was all decorated for February and winter time. And now we're bringing in spring. So gonna bring you along as I update the space. And then at the very end, I want to share with you all about if I'm making money, if I made rent for my first month or not, and how things are going financially. So get your whip, get your hook, get your 5 fill, get your yarn, and let's get into it. And we are back at our home away from home, the painted tree. Another gorgeous day. I feel like every time I come to the painted tree, it looks like it's the same video that I'm recording, but no, the sky is that blue every single time I have visited, so that's a good sign. Okay, I am here today to clean up the space and get it ready for the vendor showcase. The vendor showcase is in just a couple of days, so we're gonna clean this space up and get it ready for spring. This little girl got adopted, so I'm actually taking her back home with me so I can get her shipped off. And then, of course, my Hilga Hippo I'm replacing with another Hilga Hippo, this time with a cute little ballerina skirt and a bow. I love this pattern so much. This is by Plush and Whimsy. It can also be a lovey, but I decided to make mine into a plushie. We're going to keep some of the bees out here, but I am replacing them on this little shelf so I can make room for some bunnies. Again, spring is right around the corner, and I want the space to look more like spring and Eastery. Replaced the heart garland with my Easter egg garland. Also, I'm going to replace my Valentine willow bear with my sweet little unicorn plushie. Okay, I think the space is looking pretty good. You see I have all different types of bunnies. My bees are still there. I've added a couple of loveys. Actually, that alligator and the unicorn and a bee all sold before the vendor showcase day. So they sold a couple days earlier, which was so exciting. So didn't have the alligator or the unicorn, but that's okay. I was so happy to see that they got adopted. Okay, it is showcase day. I'm so excited. I made a bunch of little freebies, a bunch of little goodies for those that stop by at my booth. And so I wanted to show you real quick here. I made up like some cute little buns and a couple of like Easter eggs. All of them have my tag with my QR code to Instagram on the back of them. And I also made a bunch of little, like just little cute little hearts. Try to do like some pastel colors for springtime. So I have a little cute little Easter basket that I'm gonna be holding as well. So let's head in there. The parking lot looks pretty full, which makes me so excited. So let's go in there and get next to our booth. month update at the Painted Tree. I'm so grateful. I was so happy with how the showcase went. It was so great meeting other community members, and then of course so many friends and family had the opportunity to come too. So it was just such a wonderful day. Okay, so now let's get into the brass tacks of the thing. So I want to preface by saying I'm not going to share how much I pay for per month for my rent. And the reason I'm going to do that is because every Painted Tree is different. Every location is different. Cost of living can be very different and vary between different areas. And so in order to remain fair and not to either discourage someone or overly encourage someone, I'm going to just not share what my rental fee is for the month. I will say, with it being a bookshelf, in my Painted Tree, it is the cheapest space that you can rent out. So I'm very, very lucky to get a bookshelf space. It's hard to get them, especially at my store, at my location. It's really difficult to get those smaller spaces, especially the bookshelves. And so I'm really, really grateful to have that spot. It is the cheapest rental option. What I will share with you is if I made rent or not, and how far away I was from making rent, or how much I made after rent. So that way you have an idea of, you know, what to expect if you're looking at a Painted Tree in your area. Maybe set some realistic expectations. If you have any additional questions, definitely mention in the comments. I'm thinking about doing a Q&A later in the year about Painted Tree, just to get people's questions answered. I've had a lot of fellow crocheters ask me questions. Some folks are getting a new Painted Tree in their location. Painted Tree is really expanding. There are many more Painted Trees in different areas of the United States. So let me know if you have any specific questions. But for the purposes of today's video, I will share if I made rent or not, and how far off or how much more I made based off of rent. I also want to share that my goal for this first year in the Painted Tree is honestly just to break even. And that might be like a low bar, but for me, I really want to get my name out there in the Kansas City community. I want to be, you know, I really want Happiness Handmade to, you know, have more opportunities and experiences within the local area. And so I'm certainly using the Painted Tree as an opportunity for that. It's also a really great opportunity for me to learn. I do not have a business degree. I have a master's degree in IT. So it's really not related to business. And I've never owned a business before. This is my first business that I've ever owned. And so it's a great learning opportunity for me. It's in an environment where my rent is low. It's, you know, less overhead. It's not as scary for me. It felt like a really calculated risk, and one that I was willing to take for my business. So with that said, though, I certainly would love to see this be really, really successful. I am hoping that by the end of the year, I can tell you that I am in the green and we were able to pay off our rent and pay off the other fees that were required to be in the Painted Tree space. But we'll see. Time will tell. It's only been 1 month. So let's get into the numbers. All right, I have my handy dandy cheat sheet here, and I have everything on, like, it's so basic, you guys, but it's basically like a spreadsheet that I utilize for accounts payable, accounts receivable, what I pay for my yarn and my materials, what I pay for the Painted Tree. I also have different tabs. So I have the Painted Tree, I have an in-person tab for in-person markets, custom orders, okay? So I kind of put it all in there. And for my first month at the Painted Tree, I did not make rent. Aww. I missed making rent by $16.30, which I am not super mad about, because this next month The vendor show is in month 2, so I'm technically in month 2 at the Painted Tree, just about a week in here. And the vendor showcase went so well that I have already made rent for month number 2, and I also made enough to cover the $16.30 that I was missing from the first month. So I'm in the green. I'm in the green so far. It feels really, really good. I'm so grateful. I can never discount those in-person opportunities. So when those come about, I'm certainly going to try to take advantage of them. Even just standing by my space, introducing myself. I know it can feel awkward sometimes, but it ended up being a really nice time. I was able to pass out my business card. I was able to give some small freebies away, like I showed you in the video montage. It was really great. And I think that in-person connection really helped me make sales that day. It was also, I received so much support. So it was also a great opportunity for friends and family to come out and support me as well, which I am so, so grateful for. So we are making rent, people. We are making rent. I'm so excited. One thing that I should mention too. So for me, I was able to pay for a whole year's rent up front. And this may be a national thing. I know that this was the case for my Painted Tree. If you're able to pay for the full year's rent up front, you get a 10% discount on your rental fee each month. And that can mean a big difference, especially for, a solely handmade business like mine. So because I was able to pay that full year up front, again, it was a calculated risk. I feel really confident about the other ways that I'm making money for my business. Like I said, with custom, with Etsy, Palm Street, online orders, that I felt comfortable putting that money up front. So the cool thing about that is that I get 10% off each month for rent at the Painted Tree. And that means that I get a check every month because I've already paid rent. So they're going to pay me out what I sold. And that feels really rewarding because I did sell quite a bit in my first month. But because I didn't make rent, if I had not paid my rent for the year up front, I would have had to have owed Painted Tree $16 and something cents, which, man, you put in all that hard work and effort and then you still owe money. It would be a hard pill to swallow. And technically I did still owe money, but since I paid for it up front, I'm able to recoup that check each month as long as I sell at least one item a month. So that's what worked for me and my family. I know that that is not everybody's option. Sometimes paying for the full year up front is just not something that you can do, and that's a-okay. You can absolutely pay month to month. If you make your rent and still sell over what the rental fee is, you get that check. So let's say your rental was $100, you sold $130 worth of merchandise or product, then Painted Tree would cut you a check for $30 because they're keeping that $100 for your rent. So it's absolutely doable. It's certainly something that you can do. You can talk to your local Painted Tree, talk to your family. If you have a financial advisor, talk to them. I by no means am a financial expert, just sharing what the experience is for me and what's working for me. So that is all the numbers for the first month's rent. Didn't make rent in my first month, but I've already made up for it in my second month. And I'm really hoping that I can just keep this momentum going for the next 10 months of my 1-year contract at the Painted Tree. Okay, you guys, that is gonna wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I am enjoying making these videos so much. I'm enjoying getting to know you, meet you, connect with you. If you have questions about the painted tree, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I would be happy to share you some more insights about the experience. Like I mentioned before, I'd love to do a Q&A session, probably farther down the road. I will continue to provide you updates on the painted tree, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So if you have a painted tree in your local area, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear if you're interested in the painted tree, or if you are familiar with painted tree, or even if you're not, just let me know in the comments below. Feel free to follow me on Instagram as well. I'll put my handle below here. And this was so much fun. Thank you so much, and we'll see you later.